Welcome to a special Halloween edition of Welcome to the Duckverse. Yes, if you see this chart, if you're a long time watcher, you know this means we are talking about the Duckverse, and we have a special Halloween edition today because we talk about Dracula Duck. Yes, Dracula Duck is part of the Duckverse, and we will discuss it. And make sure you watch until the end because Dracula Duck helped me find a way to tie in another duck that I've been trying to figure out how it ties into the Duckverse. So make sure you watch out to the end to get a bonus duck in today's video. Real quick, if my voice sounds a little weird, it is because I was at a hockey game last night, so ooh, raspy. Either way, make sure we know. Okay, without further ado, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's go to the Duckverse intro. Yes, I have a Duckverse intro now with my official Duckverse song. So without further ado, cue that intro.
Reaching for the sky, Scrooge McDuck diving in his gold, Darkwing Duck fighting crime so bold. Welcome to the Duckverse, where adventure never ends. From Duckford to the cosmos, with all our feathered friends, heroes, villains, and mysteries untold. In the Duckverse, the stories unfold. Duck Cthulhu's lurking in the shadows deep. One arm's past fire, taking that leap. Huey, Louie, always on the run. In the Duckverse, there's a place for everyone. Welcome to the Duckverse, where adventures for everyone. Welcome to the Duckverse, where adventure never ends. From Duckford to the cosmos, with all our feathered friends, heroes, villains, and mysteries untold. In the Duckverse, the stories unfold. Duck Cthulhu's lurking in the shadows deep. One arm's past fire.
So yes, there you have it. That is the Duckverse song. I'm going to upload it at some point so you can listen to the full song. And without further ado, let's get into talking about Dracula Duck. So first of all, Dracula Duck is a character that shows up in only a few things. He is part of DuckTales universe, and he shows up in DuckTales. He shows up in DuckTales video games, and the video games he shows up in is DuckTales, Quackshot, Donald Duck Going Quackers, and DuckTales Remastered. Basically, DuckTales Remastered is the original DuckTales game remastered. He is voiced by Frank Walker, and he's inspired by Scrooge McDuck. He looks very much like Scrooge McDuck. You can see here kind of the same structure and look of Scrooge McDuck, but vampire version. So he definitely falls under DuckTales section of this timeline. Now, the video game obviously is not part of the TV show, but I feel like it still would fall into the original DuckTales and not the 2018 version. Sorry, 2017 version of DuckTales. So it would fall somewhere on this original timeline. So we have the DuckTales here, Quack Pack. It would be somewhere in here. We have Dracula Duck. Now, also, we do have the actor timeline down below, where you definitely could say a duck possibly played him as an actor, because we do have a voice actor So Frank Walker, or maybe like Frank Mallard, or some other weird duck name that we can come up with, could be an actor for right here. We have Dracula Duck, played by an actor in a video game, which would fall under the actor real life timeline. This is the fictional timeline, along with the cosmic split that converts into two separate timelines. If you're new here, let me do a quick little recap here. So basically, this timeline starts off with Scrooge McDuck being born in 1867 and Scrooge McDuck dying in 1967. So he lived for 100 years. So the timeline don't really match up with DuckTales and everything else and him being alive. So something happened like the year 1920 that caused a shift in the timelines to create a new timeline in order to have the DuckTales reboot in 2017. And all this other stuff fills in the gaps. We even have Seven Dwarfs and Snow White part of this Duckverse, because in the comic books, the Seven Dwarfs work for Scrooge McDuck. Alright. With that being said, let's get back to Dracula. Dracula Duck's full name is Drake von Vronstone. So he's part of the Vronstone family. Occupation, vampire. He lives in Romania, Transylvania. Duh, that's where all vampires live. His likes is killing Scrooge McDuck and his family. His dislikes are being defeated. Well, no one likes that. Powers and abilities. He has teleportation and bat summoning. Like, that's so cool. I wish I could just summon a bat. Just like, bat. That'd be so cool. Anyway, his status, he's now deceased. Which means Scrooge McDuck, Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Donald, they all defeated him. Yeah. Did they really? I mean, he's a vampire. There's a few things you can do to kill him, but did they? Dracula Duck, Drake von Gladstone lives on. So let's get a little more history about him, and then we're going to talk about the games itself a little bit here as well. Drake von Gladstone, better known as Count Dracula Duck. He is the final boss in the video games DuckTales and DuckTales Remastered. And he just plays a little cameo in the Donald Duck Golden Quackers video game. His full real name is only mentioned in the remastered version, not the original version, because the original version was like NES, very bad graphics, as you can see here. A little old school video game style. So the NES version, the boss fight takes place in Transylvania. Count Dracula Duck only has one attack. He teleports almost in a way like in the Castlevania version of Dracula. If you never play those games, it's, yeah. But he's able to teleport and basically avoid your attacks, but yeah, so it's kind of annoying. And then when he teleports, he summons a bat towards Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge must pogo jump on the bat to get a boost to pogo jump on him a few times until he is defeated. After he's defeated, Magica Dispel and Flint Glomgold raise Scrooge to the top of the pillar for all of the treasure collected. You know, back in the day, these video games were like so like simply coded that like there's one specific thing that you had to do. You had to bounce off a bat to bounce on. It's just so annoying how some of these games are coded, and just made it that much more difficult. And I could spend hours there trying to do this, and nowadays I can beat a game in 3 days. So back then the games definitely had their challenges to it. In the remastered version, here's a little bit more of a story behind them, obviously because they have more programming and more able stuff to do with the newer version of the game. When the Beagle Boys broke into Scrooge's money bin, they were after a portrait of Drake von Gladstone, which Scrooge bought from Magica in disguise. When the portrait is broke open, Scrooge used Gyro's supercomputer to decipher the treasure map for 5 treasures: the Spectre of Viking King in the Amazon, the lost home of Dracula's manor at Transylvania, which Gladstone later happens to be the heir to. So we have Magica Dispel, we have Goldie. I know he's here somewhere. Yeah, Finhart Glomgold is a relative of Dracula Duck. So that makes very much sense. Dracula Duck is way back here in the timeline. He's a relative of Finhart Glomgold, and then they fight him over here. The giant diamond of the inner earth and African mines, the lost crown of Genghis Khan in the Himalayas, and the green cheese of longevity on the moon. After all these treasures were collected, Glomgold and Beagle Boys took Huey, Dewey, and Louie hostage until they gave up all the treasure. Then Magica appeared and stole all the treasures, reviving that those treasures are the key to summoning Count Dracula Duck under her control. She stole all the treasures and demanded that Scrooge give up his number one dime, or else she would summon him. She is so after that one dime. She even tried to screw him out of it back in 1882, where he tried to buy it for $1. Just saying. She's been trying to get it since then. After he refused, Magica took his nephews hostage and turned the Beagle Boys into pigs. She said to Scrooge 24 hours to give his number one dime to her at Mount Vesuvius, or his nephews will become Snackula for Dracula. It's a cheesy line, but I like it. Scrooge and Finhart made an uneasy truce that Finhart would get all the treasure if Scrooge gives his number one dime to Magica in exchange for his nephew's safety. When the two finally approached Magica, Finhart snatched the dime from Scrooge's hands and revealed that he and Magica were working together the whole time. Magica revealed her use to Scrooge that she sold Drake von Gladstone's portrait to with the treasure map inside for $5, so Scrooge would do the treasure hunting, so Magica and the trouble of finding the treasure, even though she got the number one dime. So yeah, Scrooge got screwed. And then we have the boss battle. Okay, so sorry. She refused to let go of Huey, Dewey, and Louie and went ahead with her plan of summoning Count Dracula Duck anyway. And her first command was for Count Dracula Duck to kill Scrooge. And then we get the boss battle where you fight Count Dracula Duck. Still has his old attack from the NES version, but after Scrooge Pogo jumps on his head, he uses Magica's cauldron with new attacks. A yellow vial thrown at the cauldron turns him into a titan so he can attack by biting Scrooge. A green vial thrown at the cauldron. Transform him into a dragon. So I'm assuming like Maleficent dragon-esque. And attacks by breathing fireballs at Scrooge. A red vial thrown at the cauldron transforms him into a flock of bats, forming a ceiling, attempting to crush Scrooge, with only safety being an opening when he is near defeat. Dracula Duck goes higher and summons 2 bats at Scrooge. After he is defeated, he disintegrates. And then we have in Quackshot. And then we have a little bit of quick trivia about the history of Count Dracula Duck. Dracula Duck makes a cameo appearance in video game Donald Duck on Quackers. He appears on various pictures of Magica's Manor level. So, we see him himself, but he's just got a few pictures. Magica the Spell's like obsessed with him. You're obsessed with his family member. He doesn't even have stuff of his family member. No, it's kind of just Magica, you're weird. The concept of a vampire resembling a regular Duck family character may have been inspired by a vampire who is a look-like Gladstone Gander in a 2013 comic book story, A Haunted Party. I found this Haunted House Party book, but not from 2013. Like I promised, we are going to discuss another part where Count Dracula Duck does appear in Disney-esque universes, which I'm going to have to change something on this timeline in order to make this work. He appears, and after doing my research, I was looking at different things, and I typed in Count Dracula Duck into Google, and he appears in a comic book, a Marvel comic of how the Duck meets up with Blade. Blade is a vampire hunter. So Blade and Howard the Duck fight Count Dracula Duck. And I've been trying to figure out how to put Howard the Duck in here for a long time, and now I can, because it doesn't look exactly like the Count Dracula Duck that we see in the games, but it is extremely similar, as you can see here. So we have this comic book where Howard the Duck teams up with Blade to fight Count Dracula Duck. So there is going to be a separate timeline up here. That is the Marvel Comics. So this is the Marvelverse, and up here we have Howard the Duck, and Blade fight Count Dracula Duck. I might have to fix some of this on here and kind of As you can see, some of the stuff got erased a little bit back since I gotta fill it back in. I may have to rearrange it, maybe change some colors so we can see stuff. Okay, so with that being said, Count Dracula wasn't in Marvel Comics as well as DuckTales video games back in the day, and that links the Duckverse to the Marvelverse. Who would have thought? Duckverse, Marvelverse, same universe, just different multiverse. We do know that the multiverse exists within the Marvel universe, so everything is all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, and it just adds another layer to it. So all of this Duckverse stuff is within the multiverse of Marvel. So when you have Spider-Man No Way Home, and you have the Peter Parker played by Tom Holland and Peter Parker played by Andrew Garfield and Peter Parker played by Tobey Maguire. There's also a timeline there where there's a Peter Parker played by Donald Duck. Just like, I mean, there is a Deadpool Howard the Duck. So why wouldn't there be a Donald Duck Spider-Man? Like, the universe cosmos is endless with the different timelines and stuff that we haven't even seen yet. We don't even know how many there are. There's an infinite number of them, and it's impossible to figure it out. And I'm going off on a tangent, and I'm sorry. However, this makes me so excited, that fact that I can actually have Howard the Duck be a part of the Duckverse. So Howard the Duck, being in Marvel Comics, is now part of the Duckverse somehow, and the link is between Count Dracula and Duck. I do want to try to make a whole video about Howard the Duck at some point to try to maybe tie him in some of the fashion as well. And also, while doing research for Count Dracula Duck, I did find out a very interesting thing about Donald Duck. So definitely going to be doing another Duckverse video on Donald Duck. And when that comes out, make sure you watch it, because it's going to be a very special episode. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want to learn more about Duckverse and get more into detail of it, there's a whole playlist of Duckverse videos that you can go watch. So go check it out now. Comment down below your thoughts on Count Dracula Duck. Do you think Count Dracula Duck is cool? What other ducks do you want to see me talk about that I haven't talked about yet? And while you're down there, hit that join button, because you get access to future videos before anybody else. You're also going to get access to a bunch of videos that I'm not going to release to anybody else. Only you get to watch them. So go check it out. Helps me out a lot so I can continue making awesome videos like this. And check out my merch store. I got some cool designs down there. You can either get the Duckverse logo on a t-shirt, or hoodie, or stickers, and a bunch of other stuff. So go check it out right now. All the links are down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Before you go, right here is the Duckverse playlist. So if you want to learn more about Duckverse, and this is your first time of the introduction to the Duckverse, go check out that playlist and watch all the Duckverse videos where I started out making content. I talked about 7 dwarfs working for Scrooge McDuck a long time ago, and then where I started talking about a couple other the duck characters. Like, why does Donald Duck not wear pants is one of the videos on there. And then I started talking about Scrooge McDuck's life. I was like, how old is Scrooge McDuck? And that's when I came up with this timeline of Scrooge McDuck was born in 1867, died in 1967. Oh boy. Died in 1967. But if he died in 1967, how did Huey, Dewey, and Louie able to, be part of Duck? So I had to go through this whole stuff and just open up a rabbit hole, open up a duck hole, if you will, of the Duckverse. See ya.